floating timeline, and setup. The Simpsons has been on TV for over 3 decades, but its world doesn't follow the same rules as ours. The show uses what's called a floating timeline. Characters stay the same age forever, yet the world around them updates with each new decade. That's why Bart can still be 10 years old in 2025, while joking about smartphones, social media, or even presidents that came long after the show began. Because of this, Bart's life story can't be tracked by normal years. Instead, we piece it together through flashbacks, flash-forwards, and alternate future episodes, like Barthood and Bart the Future. Some of these stories contradict one another, but when arranged in order, they reveal a surprising arc. A bratty troublemaker who somehow ends up Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. The birth of Bart Simpson. From the very beginning, Bart made his personality known. Still in the womb, he mooned Dr. Hibbert during an ultrasound, a cheeky preview of the prankster he'd become. Minutes after his actual birth, Bartholomew Jojo Simpson set fire to the family home, proof that chaos followed him wherever he went. His very name is a clue. Bart is an anagram of brat. As the firstborn, Bart loved being the center of attention, but when Lisa arrived, his spotlight vanished. Suddenly, the gifted new baby became Marge and Homer's star child. Bart's jealousy boiled over into sabotage, cutting Lisa's pointy hair, trying to mail her away, even threatening to run off. And yet, in a tender twist, Lisa's first word was Bart. That single moment softened his resentment, showing that beneath the rivalry was a sibling bond that would define both of their lives. Bart and Grandpa. Early bonds. By 6 years old, Bart's mischief was already exhausting his parents. After Homer was injured tripping over Bart's toys, Marge sent him to stay with Grandpa. What should have been a punishment turned into the start of an unlikely friendship. Grandpa didn't try to change Bart. He fueled his rebellious streak instead, teaching him how to drive before he could even reach the pedals. This reckless lesson stuck. Years later, Bart used those skills during his fake ID road trip with friends, one of his most infamous childhood adventures. Grandpa and Bart would reconnect at other points too, like when they teamed up to recover the flying hellfish treasure. While Homer often clashed with his son, Grandpa gave Bart the freedom to explore, turning their time together into one of the most meaningful relationships of his early life. Bart at age 10, peak mischief. 10 is the age Bart never left, and in those years he crammed in more chaos than most people manage in a lifetime. At just 10, he became Springfield's ultimate prankster, launching catchphrases like, "I didn't do it."
Every single...
Just do the line.
I didn't do it.
Great,
gaining brief fame as a TV personality and even discovering a comet that threatened the town.
Hey, I see something in the sky.
Congratulations, Bart. You've just discovered a comet.
No! He dabbled in rapping, faced down 6 different presidents during his endless 4th-grade career, and caused trouble that echoed across Springfield. This version of Bart is the one fans know best. A slingshot in his pocket, a skateboard under his feet, and a devilish grin ready to get him into trouble. But underneath the wisecracks and hijinks, his rivalry with Lisa kept growing, reminding us that his mischief wasn't just random. It was often fueled by jealousy and a need to prove himself.
If you get hit, it's your own fault.
Bart at age 12 struggles with accountability. By the time Bart turned 12, his rebellious streak collided with something he hated most: responsibility. On his birthday, Lisa once again stole the spotlight by bragging about her Student of the Month award. Furious, Bart stormed out and ran wild with Milhouse, smashing street lamps in a fit of anger. When Chief Wiggum showed up, Bart hid and let Milhouse take the blame, a moment that highlighted a theme running through Bart's life: avoiding accountability. This wasn't the first time either. At 10, he dodged responsibility after stealing the video game Bone Storm. Now, at 12, the pattern was clearer. Bart preferred to run from consequences instead of facing them. But even in his lowest moments, people who cared for him showed up. Hiding out at the retirement home, he found comfort in Grandpa, who gifted him a bike. That bike became a symbol of freedom and escape, exactly what Bart always craved. Bart at age 15. Tension with Homer. By 15, Bart's relationship with Homer took center stage. When Marge left town and Bart threw a wild house party, he wasn't shocked to find teenagers making bad decisions. He was shocked to find Homer right there, partying with Chief Wiggum. For a rare moment, father and son shared honesty, even vulnerability. But just when it seemed they were bonding, Homer undercut him, saying Bart would never amount to anything.
Do anything.
Damn it, Homer! You ruin everything!
It reflected Homer's long-standing fear about his son's future and Bart's own uncertainty about where his life was heading. Around the same time, Bart's skills as a BMX rider were starting to shine, only to literally crash when Lisa outshone him yet again, this time by resuscitating him after a fall. Bart's teen years were a mix of small triumphs overshadowed by bigger insecurities, and his father's doubt only made it harder for him to see a way forward. Bart at age 18, graduation and first love. After spending 30 years stuck in 4th grade, Bart finally made it to graduation. At 18, he was dating Jennifer, a skater girl who seemed like his perfect match. But when he nervously proposed to her after prom, she shut him down, saying she had outgrown him. The rejection crushed Bart, echoing the heartbreaks he'd face again and again in his life. Trying to prove himself, Bart took a job at the Quick E-Mart. Fate intervened when he stopped a robbery at Mr. Burns's mansion, earning a Yale scholarship as a reward. But the prize came at a cost. Lisa was supposed to get that scholarship. In one of Bart's most defining moments, he gave it back to her, choosing his sister's future over his own. For the first time, Bart showed real maturity, proving he was capable of sacrifice and love even when it hurt him. Bart at age 20 to 25. Hints of a career. In his 20s, Bart's life was full of experimentation. He opened a BMX shop, painted murals, and even dedicated one to Lisa as a peace offering in their rivalry. Nelson, his longtime bully, made amends by paying back years of stolen lunch money, proving how much Bart's relationships had evolved. Around this time, Bart started working as a demolition expert, channeling his destructive side into a career he actually enjoyed. He also hinted at wanting to attend law school, an idea that would pay off decades later. These years weren't about stability, but they planted seeds. Bart showed he could build, create, and even dream of something bigger than pranks and rebellion. Bart at age 40. Fatherhood and divorce. By 40, Bart's life had taken a dramatic turn. He reunited with Jennifer, married her, and had 2 kids, Jiff and Skippy. But the marriage crumbled, leaving him divorced and estranged from his children. Struggling with depression, Bart even leaned on Homer to care for the kids, a bitter irony considering his rocky relationship with his dad. Yet even in these low moments, there were glimpses of growth. Bart and Lisa shared a heartfelt talk in the treehouse, both admitting their fears and failures as parents. The rivalry that once defined them finally gave way to mutual respect. Bart's 40s showed how messy adulthood could be, but also how much he had matured. He was no longer just the bratty kid with a slingshot. He was a man learning, painfully, how to be a father. Bart at age 41. Moving on from love. In his early 40s, Bart hit another strange chapter. He was working at Cretaceous Park, a SeaWorld-style attraction with performing dinosaurs, but still living in rundown lodging at Springfield Elementary. Meanwhile, his ex-wife was dating an alien named Jerry. Unable to let go, Bart underwent a bizarre procedure designed to cure him of heartbreak. The simulation pushed him through wild scenarios, partying, becoming a playboy, even hooking up with Miss Hoover. In the end, the therapy worked. Bart finally moved on. It was a surreal but symbolic moment, showing that even the ultimate prankster had to face the pain of lost love and learn to let go. Bart at age 43. The White House years. Not long after, Lisa became President of the United States, representing the Democratic Robot Zombie Coalition. Bart, meanwhile, had lost his job and was playing in a failing band with Ralph Wiggum. Broken homeless, he moved into the White House with his sister. At first, he was more of a nuisance than a help, accidentally exposing Lisa's massive tax hike during a live broadcast. But in a twist, Bart saved the day when foreign creditors pressured Lisa for repayment. His quick thinking bought her extra time, showing that beneath the chaos, Bart could step up when it mattered. Even in the highest halls of power, he was still a wild card, but one who could surprise everyone. Bart, at age 50, Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. By 50, Bart finally turned his life around. Against all odds, he was appointed Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, one of the most powerful roles in America. The boy who once tormented Springfield Elementary was now shaping the future of the nation. This success also healed one of his oldest wounds, his relationship with Homer. For the first time, father and son shared peace, watching the long-promised Itchy and Scratchy movie together. Bart's rise wasn't just about career success. It was proof that he had grown into responsibility, found redemption, and earned the respect he had always craved. Bart at age 80, final mischief and death. Even at 80 years old, Bart hadn't lost his spark. Still serving as Chief Justice, he remained the same prankster at heart. In one last act of rebellion, he lit fireworks over Principal Skinner's house, spelling out the words, "Skinner sucks." The stunt was classic Bart, juvenile, bold, and hilarious. But the prank had tragic consequences. Outraged, Skinner suffered a heart attack, his wheelchair rolling uncontrollably forward. Bart, laughing too hard at his old rival's misfortune, didn't notice the danger in time. In the chaos, he was run down and killed. Bartholomew Jojo Simpson died as he lived, laughing, defiant, and unapologetically himself. Legacy of Bart Simpson. Looking back, Bart's life was a mix of mischief, struggle, and surprising triumph. He was the brat who mooned his doctor before birth, the prankster who drove teachers insane, and the rebel forever in Lisa's shadow. Yet beneath the slingshot and skateboard was resilience. Bart proved that even the most unlikely kid could grow into someone who mattered. He became a father, learned to forgive, stood by his sister when it counted, and eventually rose to one of the highest positions in America. More than anything, his story shows that being a troublemaker doesn't mean being hopeless. It means having the creativity, energy, and spirit to carve out a path, even if it takes decades. Bart Simpson never stopped being a rebel, but he also never stopped growing. And that's what makes his timeline messy, funny, and heartfelt, such a perfect reflection of The Simpsons itself. I'm going to keep dropping more of these cartoon breakdowns, so if that's your thing, stick around. Hit subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks for being here, and catch you next time.